Hey guys, what's going on? Nazim here. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you the most simple marketing funnel that you can implement in your business to generate tons of leads and sales opportunity in the next 1 or 2 weeks. In the last 10 years, I've made my clients over $40 million in sales, which is how I received the ClickFunnels 10X award. But by far, after running literally all sorts of really types of funnels to help my clients generate leads online, this has been by far the easiest and most effective way to do it. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to be using instant ads, instant form ads on Facebook, which are notoriously known for being oversimplistic. But the secret sauce in this system that I'm going to show you is going to be in the sales follow-up that comes after acquiring the lead. So this is not going to be a regular video where I'm going to be showing you how to create an instant form ad. What happens after you acquire a lead? What happens after people leave a form? I'm going to show you how we send them to our sales CRM. Then after the sales CRM, I'm going to show you how we do the sales follow-up to maximize and ensure that we get a hold of those people as much as possible. And this is really the biggest game changer when it comes to this funnel. So without any further ado, let me go into share screen and show you the whole shebang. And without any further ado, let's dive into it. All right, 1, 2, 3, how to run ads, instant ads on Facebook and generate leads, which are a perfect fit if you run an agency, a consulting business, especially if you're doing B2B. And we're running this funnel and this ad setup for one of our clients that is a franchise business in Germany. And I'm going to show you the whole shebang, how the setup works. As you can see, this is basically the entire funnel, how it looks. As you can see, very slim, right? No over-bloated webinar funnels or selling things like courses on the front end, which usually requires a much more complex setup up front. This is quite slim and light. Everything starts with an ad. Right here with an ad, I'll show how that ad looks. Goes into sales CRM once we get a lead's opt-in info, and then we call the person 3 times to set or disqualify them, set them for a full-blown demo if they're qualified, and if not, I'm going to show you the follow-up sequence that we're running to get those people back on the calendar. So everything starts with an ad. This is what the ad looks like. We run video ads, image ads, remarketing ads, the whole thing. I just want to show you the basic mechanism behind this ad funnel setup. FYI, if my pro tip, if you're going to be running these sorts of ads, I would highly also recommend to run video ads that are at least 2 to 3 minutes long, that talk in greater context about your offer, because a downside of this funnel, the pros of this funnel is that you get a bunch of leads and for very cheap. The cons of this funnel is that you have to give them as much context upfront as possible, because if you give them too little context, well then in that case they're going to be getting on calls a little bit clueless, and you'll have to do heavier lifting on the sales call. And this is actually what we're testing with this client, where we're trying to run ads, video ads with a lot more context. Because what happens is once people come here on this ad and click on apply now button, they're taken to a lead form, right? And all they have to do is fill out the form, and then we're going to reach out to them, right? So do as much education as possible on the front end to actually talk about your product. And this is why this sort of ad, in my opinion, works really good for B2B space, right? Or even if you're selling as a business to solopreneurs or something in like BizUp space. Essentially, if you're selling weight loss, this is probably not the best funnel to run. But if you're an agency, B2B SaaS, or you're selling to businesses, coaching, consulting, this is a perfect funnel. So just talk about your offer. Like, hey, would you like to do XYZ? Then in this case, watch this video, because in the next 2 minutes, I'll show you how our agency, our consultancy can get you XYZ result in XYZ timelines. Like for this example, for this client and for this client, and here's how we work, and click on the apply now button to get more info, that kind of thing. So once people click on apply now, this says free information. Just click on weiter, which is next in German, or continue, and we click, and then we say yes, we're interested in getting more information. And what Facebook does is basically pre-populates a person's contact details that they use for their Facebook profile in the form. So another upside, which is also a downside, which is also a negative, is the positive is that they don't have to even type in their information. The negative is that they have to almost do too little work to opt in, and that means they can forget about them opting in a lot harder, because they're essentially upfront investment, like input into the whole thing, is low in comparison to, for example, watching a video, filling out their contact details on a booking platform. Basically, there's very little. There's no way that they're going to forget about that. But if you literally clicked on 5 buttons on Facebook and you essentially logged in, it's a whole different story. Now, yeah. So essentially, all they have to do now is click on Vita, right, and opt in. And what happens is we take them from here, right? I'm actually going to do this. I wonder if it works because I might already be in the CRM, but let's see. Okay, so it says perfect, thanks a lot. And you can also check out our website for more info. And if we click on this button, it basically leads them to the website where they get more information about what the business is about. We have some videos that basically help people get acquainted with the model, and we move on next. So everything that happens in the Facebook ad we just talked about and discussed. Now the CRM, right? The CRM is essentially when we send the lead data, the data that we get from the lead, we send it to a CRM, and this is what the CRM looks like. Sorry, we're using Pipedrive, as you can see. We have multiple stages. We have lead, and then we call them. We book a sales call. We make an offer. When we send the contract, and then the contract gets signed. Originally, everything comes into this tab here. Let me see if I do get created as a deal. It might be that I won't because I already did a bunch of tests. I probably won't get here because I'm already I've already did so many tests, but people that fill out, obviously they get here, and then they essentially get promoted from here to here and here. So this is essentially the whole setup. It's quite lean, right? And the way basically the entire process is correlated is when someone comes in here, what we do next is we essentially try to call a lead in this step 3 times. We try to call them minimum 3 times. We usually double dial, always double dial, right? Always double dial in case they don't pick up. People have a habit of just hanging up immediately. So number 1, double dial, right? Double dial. And then I would say call them once more later. Just, you can call them once more later. Jesus Christ, these are next level chicken scratches. Let me try to write it better. Later, 1x, double dial 2x. You can call them like a couple of hours later, and if then they don't pick up the phone, what happens is that they get sent a follow-up. If they do pick up the phone, great. You run them through a script, right? If they do pick up the phone, you run them through a script. You either set them as a qualified lead or you disqualify them. If you set them as a qualified lead, all you have to do is just drag them here because you just set them for a sales call. If they're not a good lead, all you have to do is essentially, I don't want to click because it's going to show customer data, but all you have to do is let me create a test deal. Give me a sec. Test, right? Test deal, right? So if we add a test deal here, all you have to do, if a lead is not qualified, all you have to do is click on lost and then pick a reason for why the lead is lost. It can be that they're not a character fit, they didn't respond, or whatever, or they don't have interest, or like wrong telephone number. It can be. And then you click it, mark it as lost, and then the deal is basically removed from your pipeline. It's as simple, right? Then that's it. So this is this part of the process, and then the next part of the process is the follow-up. Most people limit themselves only by emails, which I think is scraping or kind of like getting to only the tip of the iceberg. I think you can do a lot more if you add SMS, and even more if you add Telegram or WhatsApp marketing. And even more, and that's what we're not doing with this client, probably also because it doesn't make much sense to do with this client. But what we can also do on top of that, maybe like some food for thought for you, is also do Facebook or IG DM, right? So direct messages, especially if you're in the coaching space. For example, if someone applied to have a call with you, you can also find their Facebook profile or ask for it in the form. And then essentially the closer would message the person, say, hey, this is Nick from XYZ program. I noticed you booked a call with us. I just want to drop this quick message on Facebook or Instagram to see if you have any other questions prior to the call. If not, I'm looking forward to our call. It's essentially another way of showing that you're human and you're there to support them before a call ever happens. And the reason why these things work, guys, is because other people don't do them. They just don't, right? Like I would say, let's say 60% of people, maybe even more, do just email. Then another 25%, maybe even 30% do email, SMS, and then this is what the 5% do. And if you want to be involved in the 5%, get into 5%, you have to do the entire thing, or at least these first three methods. So when it comes to email, I'll show you real quick just how our sequence works. So we're using Brevo. You can use anything. You can use Brevo, you can use uh, any other software, Instantly or Constant Contact. And of course, these are inbound leads also that we get with consent, which means we can use general marketing providers, email marketing providers for this, right? But Brevo is something that we opted in for. And Brevo also supports SMS marketing and even WhatsApp marketing. For WhatsApp marketing, we use something different. We're using an app, a software that's called Super Chat. I'll show you Super Chat. So this is what we're using, right? But I think you can do it in Brevo, but we're not doing it because we had Super Chat even prior to that. You will however, need a Super Chat, a WhatsApp business account for that, right? So you cannot use your personal WhatsApp account to automate things in Super Chat. You can send it manually from your personal account, but if you want automation, you'll have to get a WhatsApp for business account. So essentially, as you can see right now, we have email and SMS marketing that goes out, and then we also send out Super Chat as an automation. Everything is by the way, like this whole shebang is connected in Zapier. So we essentially have a trigger that says if a lead comes into our system, send out an email, start sending SMS, and then also start sending WhatsApp messages. For SMS, you can also use Twilio. Twilio is a good tool for that. I think we're going to be moving to Twilio because the downside of using Super Chat, something that you need to know, is it does not have an auto stop sequence function, which means if someone gets back to you, we still have to stop the whole thing manual, which is kind of a pain in the ass at this point. We still manage doing it because we get only, let's say, 30, 40 deals a week is what we're getting and we're happy with at the moment. But if you're going to be getting hundreds of deals every week and you don't want to spare the man hours or woman hours, then that's totally fine to essentially to automate things as much as possible, right? For Twilio, if someone gets back to you, you don't have to go and remove them from the sequence or from the automation manually. Twilio stops sending out SMS messages immediately, automatically. And so going back here, essentially, this is how the system works. And again, this system works really well it's a very lean system, and which is why I like it, right? So if you run a very down to the point offer, right, especially in the B2B space, or you're selling to businesses, or where you can make an ROI claim, where the offer is very simple. I mean, honestly, even if you are a large business trying to sell to other small businesses, if the bottom line is if your offer is simple, you can essentially put it in a 2-3 minute video, and you have a very specific claim that you can make. And a lot of times also, if it's like a done with you or a service-based business where you do the thing for the client, do the thing for so essentially you work with the client on a done for you model, this system is perfect. You just shoot your shot, make the offer, explain it in the video ad, get their contact details. Now, just one thing that you do have to keep in mind is with this system, it's heavier on the sales side, right? So the good thing about traditional funnels like VSL funnels, webinar funnels, is they do some pre-education before a call ever happens, but then it takes time to develop those digital assets also. Here you can essentially skip that part and do most of the heavy lifting on the front end, which makes it a very good offer for businesses that want to get started as soon as possible, or maybe for you as a business owner who does not want to necessarily record a video ad or kind of like show your face on camera, right? I personally think it's always a good idea, but uh, there's some exceptions to that, and this case is included in this exception. But that's it basically, guys. It's a very simple funnel, showed you all the assets and how everything works. If you'd like me to implement a system like this in your business, go to nazimconsulting.com and apply for a free audit to see if this system would work for your business. And if you're running something similar and you want optimization, still go to nazimconsulting.com and apply for a free audit. Right now with this client, for example, our ROAS on essentially what we spend versus what we get, I think is easily 300 to 500, depending on how you look at ROAS, because we do have a quite big customer lifetime value. But even when we just look at AOV, kind of like upfront cash, we're still ROI positive, which is good. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.